Oh, welcome back to another Gourmet Cruise video. I'm here to talk about Arthur the Invincibles, which may very well be the best movie of all time. Or the best worst movie of all time.
The film takes place in 1960s Connecticut with a young boy named Arthur. Arthur's parents travel all around the world and fucking hate the kid. They don't like talking to him on the phone. They don't want to see him. They despise the young dude.
And remember, you have yourself a happy birthday.
Also, his grandpa's dead, and he lives alone with his grandma. The kid's going through a couple things. His grandpa's an explorer and got lost in one of his wacky adventures, but he loves his grandpa so much, he reads his stories all the time. Which is, I guess, why he has a British accent. For some reason, this kid has a British accent. Well, his mom's American, his father's American, his grandma's American, and his dead grandpa's British. I don't really get that. This kid's very confusing because they also make him act like a 50-year-old man. The script also makes him sound clinically insane, so...
Granny, they've cut the phone line! Don't you see what's happening? We've fallen into their trap and it's closing in on us a little bit more every minute. But as long as I live and breathe, they're not gonna get this house.
He's a weird kid. Anyway, so while reading about his grandpa, he learns about the Mid-imoys, which is these 3-centimeter tall little munchkins living in the back of his yard.
This is the perfect time to bring up the cast of this movie because everyone is in this film.
We got the one kid who showed up in every single early 2000s film. We got Jason Bateman from his iconic film, Paul. Snoop Dogg shows up because why not? Jimmy Fallon's a 3-centimeter tall ginger boy. And the princess in this film was fucking Madonna? And the main villain is voiced by David Bowie. It's a true fever dream come to life. And I think that's the best way to describe this movie is a fever dream. Because after his granny gets so broke that she can't pay any of the bills and every single bill company comes over and bombards her, little boy Arthur discovers how to enter the Mid-imoys world by an African tribe pulling up and helping him. After getting oozed on, he enters the world and meets Princess Selenia and the rest of the kingdom. Sadly, to his knowledge, the kingdom ain't doing so hot. He tells the kingdom if they don't help him find some crystals that his grandpa left years ago, that their entire village will be destroyed by apartment complexes because they can't pay their mortgage. But right before Princess Selenia, Arthur and his rest of his group heads off into their adventure, evil Malthazar actually bombs the entire fucking village. Just commits a terrorist attack among everybody. And honestly, it's a really cool scene because it's pretty intense. But the funniest thing about this is that the villains have normal voices. They don't act evil. They don't act normal. They just act like a 9-to-5 worker. They don't sound evil at all.
Come and get me.
Right. Go on, Grandpa. Why me? Well, who else? Well, you, for example. Me? Why me?
4 of you attacking one woman. Aren't you ashamed of yourselves?
No.
After bombing the entire Mid-imoys village, Arthur and his gang sets off for their adventure. And this is where the movie really shines. There's something special about this movie, and I can't really lay my finger on it. Each character has a special charm to them. You can really tell this movie has a lot of spark to it. Now, is that spark any good? It depends who you are. But personally, I find it very entertaining. Each character feels distinctly different than one another, and you can capture their personalities through the screen, which is an amazing job for the animators. After some wacky scenarios and several horny jokes with Selenia later, we end up meeting Snoop Dogg's character, Max. And of course, he owns a club, and they end up having a drink with Max. And this drink is kind of crazy. First of all, it's beer, but then it also has smoke in it. So you drink the beer, and then you inhale the smoke. It kind of goes hard, honestly. It's like a 2-in-1 package. Max rizzes up Selenia, takes her to the dance floor, and then another fight breaks out. The gang escapes and then ends up finding Malthazar. Let me tell you something about Malthazar, because David Bowie's voice acting, that shit goes crazy. He is a perfect fit. I previously, before this movie, I didn't know David Bowie actually did a lot of voice acting, but this movie puts him to justice. He does an amazing job, and the role as the big bad really suits him.
Spent entire days polishing that sword to perfection. I'd recognize that sound anywhere. And who else would have been able to draw the sword from the stone besides you, Selenia?
Anyways, the gang takes down Malthazar. They find the crystal. Arthur ends up finding his lost grandpa, who's just stuck in the Mid-imoys world, and they live happily ever after. Until the weirdest plot twist in history happened for some reason. The debt collector pulls out a gun on the family and threatens to kill them all for the crystals. And I guess that's why they were hunting. That's why they were going so hard with the bills and shit. Because the debt collector really wanted to find these crystals that were hidden in their backyard. He doesn't get away with it, though. He goes to jail.
I think this film really shines through its animation portion of the movie. It feels like a good lighthearted film that you would watch Saturday morning
while you're eating your cereal or having your morning breakfast or whatever you do as a kid. They do a horrible job trying to blend in Arthur's complex family issues. They never really touch on his grandpa being back. They really have this like 2-second emotion where they hug, and that's pretty much it. They never really touch on how shitty his parents are. They just fucking hate him. They really don't discuss that at all. I know it's just for like a funny gag that, oh, these parents don't like him, but I feel like it has a lot of potential. There's a lot of deeper stuff in this movie that could really be explored further if they had a better lead of direction. And we really don't get anything out of the grandma other than, I'm sad. Like, she doesn't give any emotion. She doesn't expose anything. She's just there to suffer. That's all she does. She has no dialogue in the movie where she's a happy woman. Am I looking through this movie with nostalgia glasses? Maybe, probably, honestly. But I do feel like it has a special charm to it. There's something about the animation, about the characters, and what the story is. I love the Mid-imoys world. However, what they do with the real world and Arthur and his family, it really falls flat. It has a foundation to grow. There is a second movie, and I'm not planning on doing another deep dive on that, but if you guys really want me to, I'll watch it. I'll do another deep dive, because I feel like it's gonna be even worse than now. Anyways, I'm looking forward to the reboot of this franchise. I wanna play the dad who happily despises his own son. I think that's a very fun role. So if you're watching this, let me know. I'll be the father. Thank you, bye.
Brown sugar baby, you just want that party gold at the finish line.